Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we have another video. And this game is from the grand finale of Spain's Got Talent. It's Ray Enigma versus former world chess champion Anatoly Karpov. No one actually knows who Ray Enigma is. He's been going around everywhere playing chess and taking photos with people. And the format of this game is a 3-minute blitz with no increments. So, Enigma, with the white pieces, opens with d4, the queen's pawn opening. Knight to f6, the Indian game. Knight to f3, the knight's variation. e6 and e3. The Rubinstein's system. Bishop to e6, bishop to d3 and b6. Knight b to d2, c5, and we have c3. Now, we have b7, queen to e2, c captures on d4, e captures on d4, and both castles from black and white. Now we have d6, rook to e1, a6, a4, and we have knight b to d7. h3, and we have rook to e8, and as of move 12 we have a completely new game. So, we have knight to c4, and queen to c7, bishop to g5, h6, and bishop to h4. d5, and bishop captures on e7. Knight captures on knight captures on e7, and knight to d2, knight to d5, and we have queen to g4, knight 7 to f6, and queen to h4, b5, a capture on b5, a capture on b5, queen capture on a8, rook capture on a8, and knight to e3, rook to a2, knight to d1, and bishop to c6, knight to e4, and knight capture on e4, queen capture on e4, and knight to f6, so attacking the queen. Queen to e2, queen to b7, and knight to e3, b4, c4, and we have b6 with the queen. Rook to b1, attacking the bishop, rook to a8, and rook to d1, b3, d5, and e captures d5, c takes d5, and we have bishop to b5, queen to f3, queen to d7, and knight to g4. Bishop capture on g4, h takes on g4, and queen to b4. Queen to f5, rook to e8, and king to h2. e5, rook to d3, and we have queen to c5. Rook captures on b3, rook to e8, and we have rook to c3. Queen to d4, b3, and knight captures on d5. Rook to d3, queen to e5 with check, queen to g3, offering queen trade, but we have knight to f4. And now there is a good move in the position that Enigma doesn't actually go for. This move would be rook to e3. This was a missed opportunity, but he went for rook to f3 instead, which was actually a big mistake. So, from here we have knight to e6, and queen capture on e5, d capture on e5, and rook to e3. So now he plays the rook to e3 move. Knight to d4, and we have rook to d3. Rook to b8, and we have rook to e3. f6, and we have bishop to e4. King to f8, bishop to d5, and king to e7. Bishop to c4, d6, and rook to d3. King to c5, g3, and rook to a8. King to g2, rook to a1, rook to d2, and we have king to b4. Now the move that is played is bishop to g8, and this was actually a big mistake. So, what the winning move is in this position is c3. If you notice this, you really know your end games. This is the only good move, the only winning move to take advantage of the bishop to g8 move, because this was a blunder. Going back in the position, if you played a move such as knight to b3, this wouldn't be very good, because what could happen is you would play rook to d7 and these pawns may be gobbled up. So, from here going back, let's go to the move king to c3. We continue with rook to e2, knight captured on e2. Now we have king to f3, d4 with check, king to e4, rook to a2, and we have f3. Rook to f2, f4, and rook to f3. f5 and rook captured on g3, king to d5, and rook captured on g4, so gobbling up all these pawns. Bishop to h7, rook to h4, and we now have the move bishop to g6. Knight captured on f5, we have king to c6, and knight captures on knight to d4 with check. King to d7, e4, and bishop to h5. e3, and we have bishop to d1, e2, and bishop captures, knight captures, and we have b4. King captures on b4, and now Enigma tries to catch these pawns. So from here we have king to c5 going after the other king, and we have king to f7. We have rook to g4 defending all of the pawns, and we have king to e6, king to d4. So the point is what Karpov is trying to do. He's trying to get this king pushed off to this side of the board and try to get it into a mate. King to f5, h5, and we have king to e6. Knight to g3, king to d7, king to d5, and king to c8. Rook to b4, so slicing the king off from this side of the board. And now we have king to d7. Rook to b7 with check, king to c8, and we have king to c6, king to d8, and king to d6, king to e8, and king to e6, king to f8, and rook to a7. And it was in this position on move 83 that Karpov's time ran out. So this was a draw because of the insufficiency of pieces. So Enigma just has his king. So if he had one more piece, such as a pawn, then it would have been a win for Enigma. So the point is, the best mate to play in this position is going to be king to e8. Then this will lead straight into a checkmate with rook to a8 with checkmate. Going back in this position, if he shifts up the board, then we can bring our knight into the attack with knight to f5. And the point is, if he tries to go to h8, which is the best move to play, then we're going to play king to f7. So he can try and escape by playing king to h7. Now we push forward with h4, and when the king moves to the h4 square, h8 square, because he couldn't move to this square or this square because of the knight and the king controlling these squares. So the move that is now played is king to g6, and now he has one move remaining, and that is king to g8. And it's a checkmate in one, which is rook to a8 with checkmate. But this was a draw because of Karpov's time that ran out. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video from the grand finale of Spain's Got Talent between Ray Enigma and Anatoly Karpov. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.